Nearly 2,500 people who died crossing into the United States illegally since the year 2000 have ended up here in the Pima County morgue. And more often than not, nobody has any idea who they are. But due to science, persistence, and the hard-working people of this office, nearly 65% of these John and Jane Does have been positively identified and returned to their families. Pictures like this are plastered across Mexico. Hundreds, even thousands of missing persons whose last known location was the U.S.-Mexico border. Once here, the deadliest part of their journey begins.
I mean, we get daily messages, phone calls from family members who have somebody who's lost in the desert.
How many groups are you looking at?
Humanitarian groups like Águilas del Desierto, or Eagles of the Desert, are inundated with requests to find the missing. Those lost for 2 or 3 days still have a chance of surviving. But after that, search and rescue typically turns to recovery at best.
I think the last count that we heard of for 2015 was about 204 deaths. Mind you, these are just the people that were recovered.
Recovered and brought here to the Pima County morgue.
Well, as you can see, some of our oldest cases, we have, I think, 4 on the board right now from 2014.
Our most difficult year was 2010. In that year, we had 233 cases in which a Mexican national was involved.
A problem so bad, a refrigerated truck was once brought in to store the remains.
And the condition of the remains when they're found is basically directly proportional to the odds of us being able to identify whoever that person might be in a timely manner.
This is a typical case in point.
We see what's present, what's absent, and then we try to do a biological profile to estimate who this person might have been in life.
Based on the partial skeleton,
being out in the desert, that animals have access to these remains.
You might assume this person died 2 or 3 years ago. Truth is, it was probably only months ago due to harsh desert conditions.
You know, some of the things that we can tell about this individual based on the pelvis and the cranium is that it's likely a male individual.
A teenage male with some very telling signs on the back of his skull.
Somebody who may have been subject to infection or disease or malnourished.
It could explain why he risked so much for nothing more than a chance at a better life.
Death is tragic enough, but to not be identified and not have your loved one's remains returned is just devastating.
No accompanying artifacts or clothing and no distinguishing dental work, this case remains a mystery. But the process continues. Like hundreds of cases before and hundreds still to come, the medical examiner does everything humanly possible to identify the missing.
Well, it gives you a sense of satisfaction to let families know who are missing or who are looking for a missing person know that we have found them. Although that's unfortunate, it does bring a sense of closure for them, and hopefully those remains can be returned to wherever they want to have some kind of service.
Som Lisaius, KOLD News 13, live local, late breaking.